Good evening. As a child, and I do mean starting at a kind of a young age, I'd always I'd always dreamed, and I don't mean when I was asleep in bed. I mean dreamed. I dreamed about things. I thought about amazing discoveries, amazing advancements, and stuff like that. I did this a lot. And I was very heavily interested in science. And I can remember at a young age hoping that at some point in time in my lifetime that I would see them be able to do things like give people artificial eyes so that they could see, right? People that couldn't see at all, that they could give them an artificial set of eyes and they could see. Um, I thought about, bionic type of arms. Now, mind you, in all fairness, the $6 million man was a big thing when I was young, and I enjoyed watching that. So I'm sure maybe some of my dreams came from what I saw, but I know I specifically thought about things like eyes and hearing, and of course limbs, but I was always frustrated. And again, this started at a young age because I paid attention. My dad watched news. My dad, I hated it. I hated it. Believe it or not. My dad, I'd get so pissed off at him because he'd have to watch all the news. It just couldn't be, 1.5 hour of news, and I never did understand that. And I say all the news. He watched the 5 o'clock, the 6 o'clock, and the 10 o'clock. Right? I don't think he watched the 5:30, whatever was on at 5:30. But anyway, one of them I guess was more local. The other one was more national, and then the 10 o'clock was local again. But anyway, I remember I paid attention. I paid attention. If it was on and I was in the room, even if I was playing with cars or whatever, I was listening, and I was, if it remotely sounded important, I'd try to remember it. I don't know why. I just thought that that's what I was supposed to do. I know I'm an oddball. Well, anyway, I remember different advancements throughout my lifetime and becoming very frustrated because nothing was ever done with them. Nothing, at least good. And anytime anything remotely good was ever done with any of them, it was so out of the reach of most of the people that needed it, it was ridiculous. Today, for instance, I've got a perfect example. There was a young woman, and I think her name was Sophia, and she needed a wheelchair. She needed a special wheelchair that would assist her in standing up. And what was that? 30 something? Well, originally, what was it? Wasn't it 40 something thousand or 60 something thousand? What was it? Do you remember? Sophia's wheelchair. Her stand-up wheelchair. I can't remember. It was either like $40,000 or $60,000, something like that. And it's a wheelchair. It's like a scooter, right? But the way that it's designed is that it's got kind of like a scissor lift kind of design. Not a scissor lift design, but it's got a design where it will raise up and it will allow her to stand. Okay? And I can't remember, it was either 40,000, 60,000, something like that. And it seemed to me like they, because she had a bunch of people that donated to GoFundMe and all that, and it seemed to me like She finally got him talked down to like 30-something thousand or something. I can't remember. No, I take that back. I think she had to pay 40-something thousand. That might be where I got it. But nonetheless, outrageous and unbelievable. And people in that type of position, you have to understand, okay? People, this particular woman has cerebral palsy, okay? And so she was kind of born with it. And I, highly doubt that, she was able to partake a career and become a multimillionaire or anything. So just long story short, she's on disability. I'm sure, it's the way it is. And you can't afford those types of things on that type of an income. That's absolutely ridiculous. So that would frustrate me heavily. Things like that. But we have reached a point, and we're getting more to the subject here. We have reached a point in technology and advancement that sky is almost the limit. And unfortunately, instead of using this technology and advancement for good, I think most of it's going to be used on bullcrap, to be quite honest. Right? Let me just give you an example. Look at all the money that's in things like cosmetic surgery, and I mean unnecessary cosmetic surgery. Okay? And I'm one of those, hey, it's your money, do it as you will. But still doesn't change the fact that it was absolutely unnecessary. In some cases, I'm not talking about burn victims or accident victims or anything like that. I'm talking about some chick that wants bigger boobs or whatever. Anyway, I have a feeling that that's what the technology is going to be wound up spun towards. Is going to be a profit-driven. What's the word I'm looking for? On the surface, not cosmetic, but I think it's a C word too. But anyway, I don't think that the technology is actually going to really be beneficial to the average person. Now, how does this have to do with transhumanism? Well, exactly has to do with transhumanism, because that's one of the ways that I'm talking about in which they're using or going to use this technology in a harmful way. So if they can do things, and I do have an article here, it's what based this discussion tonight. The title, well, let me bring it up. You guys might want to see it, I reckon. And by the way, before I jump into the article, so I wasn't anywhere today. I wasn't on Patreon Morning News today. I didn't do a video today. I'm hurting. I definitely put a dent in myself as far as I jacked my upper body up. Essentially, I hurt like hell, and been trying just to do the normal things today, right? And it hurts like hell to raise my arms up if I have to use any force whatsoever, like in a motion of putting my arms together, like compressing my arms together. Oh my gosh, my sternum lights up like you wouldn't believe. So yeah, I'm definitely feeling the effects today from my little blackout and fall yesterday. So sorry about that. Bear with me. Hopefully I feel better in the morning. So I really hope I feel better in the morning. Anyway, let me get back on track here. Cyberpunk 20 whatever, researchers warn of bleak future with companies owning private thoughts and world divided between cyborg and human. Yeah, I'm absolutely not kidding you. And this isn't something, as what I put the title tonight, that's not clickbait. They are ready. They are ready. They've been working with different types of systems and things for a while. Neuralink is one of them. This article talks about Neuralink in it. Anyway, I am going to read the article. I think it's important you guys understand this stuff, and I think it's important you understand that, although this technology could have, unlimited good use, that's not where it's going to go. It's not. It's going to go to the anything from pleasure seekers to it's going to be profit driven, right? When you can tap into the body like this, like they're doing, you can do so much good. You really could. They have the ability right now to do so much good, and they don't, because there's no money in it. And they don't care. They absolutely could care less. It's such a sick, in my opinion, a sick world. That don't even come close to put it. I can't even think of the words to put on it. It's absolutely disgusting. And I know people will debate about whether the Father's coming and all that. You don't think the Father's judged this yet? What more do you think he needs? Because anyway, let me read a little bit of this so you have an idea of what's going on with it. Scientists at Imperial College London have warned of a bleak panorama relating to the commercial use of brain-computer interfaces if left unregulated. They say the tech could lead to companies harvesting our deepest thoughts. Several big tech companies, including Facebook and Microsoft, and technology investors like Elon Musk, have funded projects exploring the use of brain-computer interface, or BCI, devices to map out neural links. U.S. government agencies are also studying the tech's applications. In a new study published in the APL Bioengineering Journal, researchers from the university reviewed the state of BCI research. They raised red flags about the potential commercial exploitation of our innermost thoughts and feelings and warned of a world divided along the lines of access to BCI tech. Hang on. Something smacked me in the head. Could you imagine blackmail? Right? Could you imagine the type of cybercrime? Think about this. Let's just go there for a moment, right? Let's say you're playing a video game on this Neuralink thing, right? You're hooked up like a alien, right? And you're playing your video game and somebody hacks you. Right? Somebody hacks you and gets a hold of your memories and pulls something up and is somehow able to record it or whatever, something that you don't want known, and uses it as blackmail. I'm not saying you in particular, but I mean, there's people out there that would definitely fit that category. I mean, we could probably find out a lot of information that way. But anyway, think about that. Seriously. I mean, that's just one crazy, whacked out direction that this could go. And I mean, that just literally smacked me in the head. I didn't even previously think about that angle. But anyway, continuing on. Study co-author Roberto Portilla Lara described the possibility of corporate entities accessing BCI readings as particularly worrisome, since data is often considered to be the most intimate and private information that could be associated with any given user. The most likely approach to real-world BCI applications is through electroencephalography. Electroencephalography. I think I'm pretty close to that. Now I can't say relatively though. A relatively low-cost, non-invasive method of monitoring the brain's electrical activity. Hospitals use it through a headgear with electrodes attached to the scalp to diagnose epilepsy and other disorders. So what was the probe they had me put up my butt? No, I'm kidding. The researchers claim EEG-based BCI systems will deeply transform industries like healthcare, entertainment, security, education, and marketing in the near future. See? What did I tell you? However, Portillo Lara warned that EEG data could also give companies unparalleled insight into a person's intentions, preferences, and emotions. I mean, do we really want to go here? One recent example of a BCI venture is a Facebook-funded speech neuroprosthesis project that has used surgically implanted electrodes on a participant's brain surface to create computer models for speech detection and word usage. Wow, I can't hardly speak, so something like that could be useful for me. In a blog post earlier this month, the company said the project had enabled a man who could not speak after suffering a series of strokes 16 years ago to communicate again. It did this by converting his attempts to talk into words on a screen. Now see, that's what I'm talking about. But you know what? They're just using this man for a guinea pig. Right? And when they're done using this man for a guinea pig, instead of really developing this technology for the other individuals that would probably like to speak but can't, it's going to go to entertainment, security, education. Yeah, and you know the kind of education, right? Right? And marketing. That's where it's going to go. That's where it's going to go. Anyway. However, the project was still far from the tech giant's stated goal of a system that can type 100 words per minute straight from your brain. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Facebook said it would stop funding the project to focus on a project that had better short-term sales potential, a virtual reality wrist controller that reads muscle signals sent from the wearer's brain to the arm. Last year, Musk's BCI tech startup Neuralink announced that it implanted a chip in a pig's brain to study its neural pathways, with the eventual goal to build Fitbit in your skull, human implants that would enable memories to be shared and Tesla cars to be telepathically summoned. Meanwhile, the U.S. military research arm DARPA is reportedly developing BCI tech with the intent to create super soldiers who can control swarms of drones operating at the speed of thought. In 2017, the agency had awarded contracts to better understand how brain interface technology works and potentially build a device capable of communication with up to 1 million neurons at a time. This ties into what the researchers warned could lead to a world divided between augmented and the natural. Study co-author Riley Green said policymakers and regulatory bodies had to tackle the dilemma of BCI commercialization to avoid this bleak paranormal. The study's authors said there was lessons to be learned from the commercialization and global impact of innovations like the internet and smartphones. Those examples showed the stringent laws need to be put in place to ensure applications of BCI technology are ethical and safe. As well, they recommended that the technology needed to be shared and easily accessible to prevent current socioeconomic inequalities from growing worse. You know. And that ain't going to happen either, because all of that pre-mentioned entertainment, security, education, and marketing is not going to be available to the average Joe at first. Okay? Is space, I mean, think about that. I can't believe I can't believe that a big dick went up in space. Can you? And not only that, but the rocket was shaped like a penis. Did you notice that? You get it? I saw it on a meme, so shoot me. Let's see. Was there any more? I don't know if there's more. No, I think I read it all, didn't I? Yeah, I did read it all. This is concerning, and I had first started speaking about similar technology back, and I've talked about this numerous times. Back when the F-35 jet was really, first starting to be toyed with. And one of the intentions behind that jet was that the helmet was going to be able to read thoughts. And you were going to be able to operate the weapons system by your mind. Now, I believe that feature never actually made it. I guess they had issues with it. I don't know. I have heard, and I don't know if this is true, but I have heard that it is voice activated. But as far as mind controlled, that to my knowledge didn't make it. But I was talking about that stuff back then, and that's been well over a decade ago. I mean, it's been a while. Been a long while. So, 12 years or so-ish. Yeah, been a long while since I started talking about that. So, I would say we might want to keep an eye on this. Because I think if it comes to us, the average Joe, in a hurry, it's not going to be in a good way. And this could also, I want you to think about this. This is what's concerning me about all this right now. I want you to think about how they are pushing other things, other medical procedures right now. And I want you to think of how they're eerily structuring it to where, those that don't have the procedure are going to be second-class citizens, essentially, right? So they're going to do the same thing here. Is that how it could roll out? You could have an Elon Musk or a Jeff Bezos walk out and say, you know what? I love the people so much. Anybody that wants a Neuralink, and I'm just using that name because I don't know the names of anything else. Anybody that wants a Neuralink can get a Neuralink. Go to your Walgreens, whatever. You know, right? Because they are some sick, demented, twisted people. Could you imagine if they got the mass of the population with some type of Neuralink type of device in them? The type of control that they would have at that point in time? That's why I'm asking the question if you're ready for this, because they're apparently getting pretty ready for you. Just like I've said, going back a little ways now, months. If you're against the idea of, that procedure that I talked about a moment ago being forced, the jab, you might want to speak up now. might not want to wait. Because if you wait, there's literally going to be somebody at your door. And then my question for you is, what are you going to say then? I know a lot of people, right now, it's easy to say, well, I'll tell them. But then when they're at the door, it can often be a little bit of a different story. That's not true for everybody. But more often than not, I would rather individuals not allow themselves to be put in that position. That's what I would prefer. But anyway, this stuff's coming. And can you imagine what they have the ability to do right now? If they can do this, then where are the bionic arms? Come on. If they can tap into thoughts and memories, you can't tell me that they can't tap into signals, to send out, and we know they can. They've been working with that type of stuff for quite some time. So where's the bionic arms? Come on, you can't tell me with all the technology and all the money and all this, that, and the other thing that it just couldn't be done. It's sad. It's sad that everything has to come down to money. And that's why that's why I firmly believe that is actually that's actually the mark. 1 second. I believe money's the mark. I've said it a number of times. And it's frustrating. Like I said, this goes back. I thought about this stuff as a child, I thought about this stuff as a child. I was a really weird kid. But anyway, I'm going to get to headlines, get those done and out of the way, get done, and then relax. I really hope tomorrow that it's mainly my sternum is where a lot of my pain is. But hopefully tomorrow it's less. And I'm getting huffed. Telling you, I need to get that Nerf gun. You know what I ought to do? I ought to put the Nerf gun on a wish list, and then if it just shows up, it's not my fault. I'll even send somebody the money. I'm kidding. That's a beautiful sight, isn't it? Well, as the headline says, woman accused of killing husband with ATV after argument over food and a divorce request. Apparently, the argument was about food. He got fed up and said he wanted a divorce, so she ran him over and killed him. That's pretty much how it went. The black eye? Oh yeah. That was, I believe, the stepson. Yeah, he did that. Apparently, according to the sheriff, that alcohol was a factor. Nah. Anyway, troop suicides rise as Pentagon official points to U.S. military stretched by China. Okay, so let me make this very clear. It had nothing to do with 20 years of useless war, right? That the whole reason we were there was a lie. right? It has nothing to do with the horrid conditions of the VA. It has nothing to do with the insanely increasing rise of homeless veterans. Nothing to do with any of that, right? None of that. China. It's China's fault. Top U.S. General Milley insists military is apolitical as he dodges questions about white rage and critical race theory comments. They're not supposed to talk about those things. I'm gonna have to put a Nerf gun on a wish list. That dog is something else. CIA taps Bin Laden hunter to probe mystery Havana syndrome plaguing spies and diplomats as U.S. says cases hit 200, says reports. Oh, God. Here comes the scruffing. You watch. No? He's way down. I didn't even get huffed yet. Tokyo Olympics show director fired on eve of opening ceremony over decades-old Holocaust joke. 10 years post I'm concerned. Let's see. And I can't say that. Post Breivik, Norway's still dealing with aftermath of its deadliest massacre since World War II. China refuses to participate in second phase of WHO's COVID origins probe, says research into lab leak theory goes against science. Then they're going to say something else. We'll get to that in a moment. Russian ruble remains one of the world's most undervalued currencies, says the Big Mac Index, because we rate everything by Big Macs. Hundreds of thousands evacuated from areas devastated by floods as China death toll rises to 33 and more rain forecast. Kneeling to pressure, Olympics will include images of athletes protesting on social media in apparent policy reversal. Brexit deal wasn't something to last forever. Britain says EU is inflexible on Northern Ireland issue. Russia files first ever ECHR complaint against Ukraine over Maidan massacre, censorship, discrimination, and Crimea water blockade. Russia inks $1.2 billion worth of military contracts at Makes 2021 air show. The carrot is no longer going to work. CNN executive says in leaked email that U.S. should rethink the carrot versus stick vaccination drive. You understand what they're saying, right? That they've already dangled the carrot, as in you get your free donuts. Some places you got free weed. You got entered into a vaccine lottery. You know, all these incentives, right? To get the jab, and since that didn't work, now they're going to have to get out the stick. Okay? Budapest set to hold referendum on LGBTQ plus law in early 2022 after attack by Brussels. YouTube censors Brazilian president's videos over COVID misinformation concerns. Protest against India's new farm laws reignites in New Delhi as farmers stage sit-in near Parliament. Like medieval Japan, Tokyo 2020 officials respond to Russian complaints about Olympic living conditions. $21,000 per bed. State hospital workers arrested in Peru for charging desperate COVID patients to access ICU. Washington's new Nord Stream 2 deal hostile to Russia and betrays spirit of Putin-Biden summit, Moscow's ambassador to U.S. fumes. A failure of U.S. sanctions, Iran launches first oil terminal in Gulf of Oman to bypass Strait of Hormuz. Every vaccination counts, Merkel urges Germans to get inoculated amid worrying coronavirus rise. Are they going to bomb Vermont? Israel gets skewered after claiming Ben & Jerry's ice cream boycott is a new form of terrorism. Okay. African Union to start receiving 400 million Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccines next week, but only 6 million will be delivered by the end of August. 6 arrested in plot to murder Madagascan President Andry Rajoelina after months-long investigation. Women who earn more than subsistence wage should be banned from having state-funded abortions, the Russian Orthodox Church proposes. So, women who earn basically a substantial wage should be banned, is what they're saying, from having abortions. Russia eliminating U.S. dollar transactions in its foreign military deals, says state arms exporter. Russian tech billionaire Durov, unsurprised to be listed in bombshell Pegasus data leak, says he already knew he was being targeted. UK at risk of food and fuel shortages as COVID pandemic disrupts workforce and supply chains. A Western campaign against Belarus runs risk of sparking Third World War, says embattled leader Lukashenko, branding EU crazy. Russia finds Facebook and Telegram for failing to delete illegal content. Now, I'm going to warn you about this headline. You will be more stupid after I read it to you. Okay? You will be more confused after I read this headline to you than what you are right now. I will promise you that. So, I warned you. New study calls on wildlife bodies to rectify harm caused by damaging, racist, and bigoted bird names. Yeah. Okay. 9-hour hostage crisis diffused after Swedish prisoners release guards in exchange for pizza. Hey, sounds fair. Sounds very... In fact, I'm kind of hungry. A pizza sounds good. I wonder if I could trade, like, I don't know. Anybody want to trade gin or blue on large pizza? No, I'm kidding. Kidding. It works for hostages, though. Man. Let's see. Sounds very ethical and anonymous. Hunter Biden will meet potential art buyers fueling accusations of influence peddling. Let's see. UK government steps in to ensure abortion services in Northern Ireland are fully implemented by end of March 2022. Years of inaction, rights groups file class action lawsuit against French police over alleged racial profiling. 2 engineers for Russian metro system under investigation after covertly stealing electricity to mine cryptocurrency at work. Guinea will send team to Tokyo Olympics just hours after announcing withdrawal over COVID fears. Hungarian prosecutors launch investigation into Pegasus scandal as Orban government implicated in NSO surveillance allegations. Belarusian opposition figurehead meets with U.S. state-run media to secure relaunch of broadcaster in troubled country. Over half of EU adults fully vaccinated against COVID as blocked slow rollout picks up speed. At least 18 inmates die, many police injured as more riots break out at prisons in Ecuador. EU drugs regulator lists rare neurological disorder as potential side effect of Janssen's COVID jab. Indian government slams audacious study that suggested country's COVID death toll is 10 times higher than officially reported. Venice swerves UNESCO endangered status days after banning cruise ships from entering. Tommy Robinson loses libel case brought by Syrian teenager, must hand over £100,000 in damages. Thousands of sites worldwide go dark after cloud services provider Akami reports DNS issue. Police Federation says it has no confidence in home security. Patel after insult pay freeze announced. Let's see. Facebook users blast Facebook's creepy prayer tool after company admits it's used to create personalized ads. Thought that was kind of weird. More American voters want the 2020 BLM riots investigated than Democrat probe of Capitol insurrection, says a poll. That is very interesting. Unvaccinated Israelis will be denied entry to synagogue or anywhere with 100+ people, says PM Bennett. Russian-made air defense system shot down all Israeli missiles targeting Syria's Homs, says the military. Hang on, I gotta have a drink of tea here. And it would appear, and I can't say this for certain, but it would appear as if Russia might be taking a little bit of a larger role in the defense at this point. I could be mistaken, but from the way the article read, kind of sounds that way. Morocco suing Amnesty International over claims it spied on French President Macron with Israeli malware. German TV reporter suspended by RTL after smearing mud on herself to dramatize on-scene report from deadly floods aftermath. Sounds like CNN, doesn't it? Texas truckers face charges for smuggling hundreds of migrants, but others just walk across. Better late than never, House passes bill against forever chemicals and foot-dragging spectacle after just one state enacts ban. Hardcore porn proliferates across Washington Post, Teen Vogue, and other after X-rated site takes over video hosting domain. Biden warns Cuba of looming torrent of sanctions. And there is a number one up there. Oh, fun times. Several injured, people flee in panic as dozens of gunshots ring out on busy street in Washington, D.C. From the looks of it, it was before the sun went down. Which for them would have been roughly an hour ago. Because it's just kind of gone down for us. So, one moment. Getting the story out. Yep. I'm telling you, they're going to really push this stuff because they are going to push the gun bans. Better believe it. I mean, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother night. They're really pushing that. They're pushing a lot of stuff. Really super hard. So, anyway, I am going to get out of here. I'm going to do my best to get the Grow Tent video, the vlog video done tomorrow. Do my best to be able to do the morning Patreon news. I hope I hope I feel better. This has not been a fun feeling. I mean, it hurts like hell. My chest, like where my sternum is, it just a real sharp pain. Even if I barely kind of, like I say, compress my arms together. Yeah. Anyway, I am gonna get out of here. I hope you all have a great weekend. If I don't by chance see you tomorrow, and otherwise I'll see you Sunday, God willing. So, as always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit, and shalom.